Radhe Radhe everyone, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Hari Hari Bo. Hope you are very well tonight. Beautiful day in the ashram. So as promised, today we are speaking about a very beautiful topic, very elevated conversation between Lord Chaitanya, the incarnation of Radha Krishna in this age of Kali, and his dear associate Ramananda Roy, who is actually an incarnation of Vishaka Devi, who is standing to the right of Krishna on our altar. So the incarnation of Krishna and Radha, Lord Chaitanya, is speaking with the incarnation of Vishaka. They came about 550 years ago. And they're speaking about the purpose of life. What is the goal of life and what is the means to achieve it? And Lord Chaitanya is inquiring from Ramananda Roy, who is a very distinguished scholar in all Vedic literature. Although he is in the position of a householder and a servant of the government, and Lord Chaitanya is a sannyasi, still Lord Chaitanya is inquiring from that person who is junior to him in the social order. And this was itself quite revolutionary. People at the time thought, why is this sannyasi inquiring from this ordinary worker? We said yesterday, Jai bhaje she bhara abhakta hinachar, Krishna bhajne nahi jati kuladi vichar. That person who has the most love for God, they are the most advanced, and they are who we should listen from. So here now we are going to be hearing a little bit about this discussion, focusing mostly on the later section as requested by our dear Kalindi, who asked about the ornaments on Srimati Radhika's divine form and what they represent. So this is found in the conversation between Ramananda Roy and Lord Chaitanya. They spoke for some days, and the essence of that discussion is given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the second part, Madhya Lila, the middle pastimes, the 8th chapter. First, he describes that the purpose of human life is not just to enjoy our senses or to advance our society, to improve society on so many levels like we see in this world. It's described that actually the purpose of human civilization is to serve God, develop love for God, to worship God. This process is called Vanashrama, 4 orders of life, 4 stages of life. And he said all of those stages and orders of life are meant to please Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. So Lord Chaitanya replied that this may be so, but it is still quite on a basic level. Because it doesn't speak about the mood of the heart, it speaks about the external function. We have our roles in society, and we understand that society should be centered on God. That's a very high stage of civilization. That moral fiber and moral life centered on God is a very high stage of life. But Lord Chaitanya said it is external. Many incarnations have come and taught this, but this is not the reason for my descent. I have come to teach something higher. So in due course, Ramananda Roy speaks on higher and higher principles, how we should develop service to God without desire for any reward, how we should develop divine wisdom, knowledge of the self, transcendental to material life. Many people will worship God with God at the center of life and yet still remain attached to their life, their family, their homes, thinking that I am that, which is ultimately illusion, and it is an attachment that keeps us bound in material existence. So then there's the cultivation of wisdom, the knowledge of the self, and the transcendental reality and the nature of this world. Still, Lord Chaitanya considered this external. He said, simply by the cultivation of knowledge, we may develop detachment, But without developing love of God, we may again fall prey to material infatuation. Because knowledge itself is not as powerful as love. And the soul's nature is to love. And if we do not develop love for God, which is pure, and our pure relationship, then we may be bound to fall again into a material relationship. And there are two functions of the soul, as we've talked about. We can either be existing in a enjoyment for ourself mentality, which develops various levels of lust, or love for God, which is based off the desire to please Him. And we may have a society based on God consciousness, but still it's meant to extract happiness from God as a benediction to us. That God is there ultimately to please us, to satisfy us. And that is considered external devotion, external religion. So Ramananda Roy continued going higher and higher until finally he came to the stage of pure love of God, even beyond the sense of opulence, that God is my bosom friend and God is my very intimate family member, even my son, and developing that paternal love. People worship Gopal Krishna like my son. Or the mood of the Vraja Gopis, the cowherd maidens of Vrindavan, the damsels of Vraj, who see Krishna as their beloved. So Lord Chaitanya was happy with this description, and he said, please continue further. So this is a very elaborate subject, but we're going towards the main topic. So I'm giving a very brief summary. So he describes the nature of Krishna, the Supreme Personality, in the all-attractive reservoir of pleasure, of beauty, of all sweetness. And after describing that, he says that Krishna has unlimited potencies. So Krishna is the masculine divinity, and Sri Radha is his counter whole, the feminine divinity. And that is considered the potency. Krishna is the supreme potent, and she is the supreme potency. And from Sri Radha, all the different potencies emanate, like Goddess Lakshmi, Goddess Saraswati, Goddess Durga, are all the expansions of Sri Radha. She is the original potency. In our conception, there are not different gods. There is one God, Lord Krishna, and there is one goddess, Sri Radha, and Krishna has his incarnations, his expansions, in the same way Radha has her incarnations and her expansions. So now he's going to describe the nature of Sri Radha. She is his aspect of bliss. She is called Hladini, the bliss potency. The highest form of the divine feminine is she who gives bliss to the absolute truth Krishna by her very nature. So he says, the potency called Hladini gives Krishna transcendental pleasure. Hladini means spiritual bliss. It's another name for Ananda. Through this pleasure potency, Krishna experiences all transcendental ecstasy. He experiences all kinds of transcendental happiness. So even though Krishna is the personification of bliss, he relishes bliss through the exchange with his beloved Sri Radha. So for all living entities, Krishna is the abode of bliss. And yet Krishna himself is also always relishing bliss from his beloved. In the Vedanta Sutra, 12th aphorism, it is described, Anandamayo Abhyasat. Anandamayo Abhyasat. Krishna is relishing bliss. And you can say, okay, bliss, we have some conception of what is bliss. But the essence of bliss is love. Of all kinds of happiness, the purest and the essence is love. And love that is based on loving reciprocation. Not just love in solidarity. Love is not solitary. We can say, I am complete and I am love. But love itself unless expressed in a loving exchange, is muted. It has no object, no purpose. Love, when it is reciprocating with the beloved, that is the full perfection of love. And so ultimately it's said that existence is the beloved God, the lover Sri Radha, and love itself. And this is also described as bhakti, devotion, bhakta, the devotee, and Bhagavan. Those are the three eternal substances. Bhakti, bhakta, Bhagavan. Prem, love, premi, the lover, and premika, the beloved. Of all the gopis who are the expansions of Sri Radha is the supreme, the chief. Her very body is the transformation of love of God. Lord Chaitanya appears, and he is Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shaktir Asmad. Lord Chaitanya is the manifestation of the transformation of divine love. That's why he appears as the form or the complexion of Sri Radha. Because it is Sri Radha's form, Mahabhav Swarup, that is the form of divine love. You understand? Sri Radha is the form of divine love. So Krishna appears as Chaitanya, and he takes on her complexion so that he is himself at that point the manifestation of divine love. Therefore he is called Prem Purushottama, the highest person who is the personification of love. So that supreme bliss is Sri Radha. And that supreme bliss is the essence of spiritual life. She is the topmost spiritual personality, and the other gopis, Lalita, Vishaka, are her expansions of her transcendental form. Her body is lustrous like molten gold. Now it's going to describe in a very beautiful meditation the ornaments on her body and what they represent, the moods they represent. Her very body is transcendental love. So all the ornaments on her body represent her different moods of transcendental love. Krishna's love for her is like a perfumed massage. So she is always being, you could say, in the experience of the love of Krishna. Just like if someone is giving you a massage, you're experiencing the hand, the pressure, the heat, the mood through the hands. So that experience of love of Krishna for her is like a perfume, like sandal oil that is massaging her entire form. So she is at every moment experiencing Krishna's transcendental love. So it's explaining now her bath and her decoration. So it's starting with a massage. Before you take a bath, you take a massage. So Krishna's love for her, his affection for her, is that saffron or sandal oil or camphor oil, mixed sandal with little camphor, a guru, and she is given a massage with Krishna's pure affection. Then she takes 3 baths a day. The first is the shower of the nectar of her compassion. Radharani is described to be Karunam, Karumai, Karunabharite. She is the essence of mercy, the supreme form of compassion to all living entities. All the great sages pray to her and glorify her as so Krishna's counter whole, but directly Krishna's form of mercy. Her second bath is in the shower of the nectar of youth. So she is the most compassionate, and she is supremely youthful. Karunya Amrita Snan is the first, the shower of compassion, Karunya. The second is the shower of the luster of youth. Tarunya Amrita Snan and Lavanya Amrita Snan, her bodily luster. After her bath, her maids dry her transcendental form and give her her first cloth, and she is dressed in her shyness. That is the manifestation of love. Shyness is one of the manifestations of love. And that is in the form of her sari. So she wears a Sham Varna sari, the color of Sri Krishna. Krishna's affection, her affection for Krishna is her upper garment. So her sari is her shyness. And her affection for Krishna is her blouse. And this is pinkish in color. Her chest is covered with another cloth, which is her affection and her anger towards Krishna. So one of the emotions of love is also anger. But it's like the lover's quarrel, which is actually only to please Krishna and to enhance the sweetness of her meeting. Spiritual life is dynamic, it is not dull. You see in marriage, after some time, the rasa, the sweetness, the exchange may lose its potency. And so anger, quarrel, these things excite the lover and beloved and increase their love. So sometimes Srimati Radhika exhibits transcendental anger only to please Krishna. And this is called man. It means a form of not anger at Krishna. She doesn't yell and shout at him, but it means she is sulky. So that is her upper garment. It is her sulky mood with her affection. Srimati Radhika is so beautiful, and her beauty is represented in the kumkum. That means a reddish powder. She will decorate her chest, sometimes on her feet. And her affection for her associates. So she has pure love for Krishna, but she also has affection for all the gopis, all her maids, and that is like sandal pulp. So they place that on her body. Very fragrant sandal paste that also symbolizes Krishna himself, the moods of Krishna. So when the gopis put the sandal paste on her body, she experiences the touch of Krishna. For her, she experienced that directly. Her smile is very sweet, and it is like camphor. Camphor has a very fragrant quality, a very cooling quality. So her smile cools the whole world. The whole world is praying to receive her smile. Yes? Everyone is praying for the smile of the beloved. Krishna is always praying to receive her beautiful smile. We pray in the morning time. Subha dristi karo eve jagatera prati jagu ka hridhaye mora sumangala rati. Oh, dear Sri Radha, dear Sri Krishna, may your merciful glance fall upon us in this world, and Kripa Kataksha Bhajana, may you cast your merciful glance upon us, and may you give your smile of compassion. So her smile is like camphor, cooling the hearts of all the Vrajabasis, and especially of Krishna. You know the power of a smile. So sweet. So all together, the sandal, the camphor, the kumkum, musk, this is all smeared on her transcendental body after her bath. And these all represent her moods of love. Her pure conjugal love for Krishna is an abundance of musk. Musk is a very attractive scent. And that represents her amorous love for Krishna, her madhurya rasa. Her hair is decorated very beautifully, a very nice braid, and it is of the nature of her cleverness and again her sulky mood. And that is her braid, her hair. Her sulky mood, that quality of her sulky mood, there's many stories about that. How sometimes she will exhibit her sulky mood towards Krishna, sometimes with no cause, sometimes with cause. And it's very difficult. Krishna always has to come up with new ways to break her man. Like we heard the story of when Radharani got angry with him, he pretended to fall asleep and he kept his flute there and she stole the flute. And then later Krishna came and was searching for the flute. And in this way Krishna broke her sulky mood. So there are many ways in which Krishna is always endeavoring to break the sulky mood of Sri Radha. So if anyone has any questions as we go along, you can bring them up. Her attachment for Krishna is the reddish color of betel nuts on her brilliant lips. That is her attachment to Krishna. And her tricky dealings in her loving affairs constitute the black ointment around her eyes. So she always is very intelligent. Dakshin, not Dakshin, very Daksha, very intelligent in how to arrange her loving affairs with Krishna, how to trick her in-laws, how to trick the other gopis. There's a story that when we offer lamps to Krishna and lamps to Sri Radha, the gopis are offering the lamps, Lalita specifically, praying that may all obstacles in her meeting to Krishna be taken away. There are so many obstacles that enhance their meeting and enhance the sweetness of their meeting. Many obstacles. The idea is that in the highest level of Raj, Radha and Krishna, even though they are eternal, counter whole, inseparable, yet still they are not directly married because it enhances the sweetness of their rasa, their relationship. And so Radha has another, like a shadow husband who has no interaction with her, but is like a image, like a statue, an idea almost, a bimba. A pratibimba means like an image, a reflection. That is her husband. And Krishna, he doesn't have a wife in Vrindavan, but he is unmarried. And so there are many obstacles in their meeting. Radharani's in-laws are always looking out and not letting her go to meet with Krishna, and Krishna also. And Radharani laments to her friend that it's so difficult to meet with Krishna. I'm always eager to meet with him. He is always with his friends or with the cows, or he's with his parents. And even if there's some slight chance to meet with him, my in-laws are always restricting me. My mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, they're always criticizing me and not letting me go to meet with Krishna. And even so, if I get the chance to go and meet with Krishna, the other gopis in the rival parties, like Chandravali's party, will always steal Krishna away or look at some way to separate us or trick us. What can I do? And then even when I cross over all these obstacles, I want to go meet with Krishna. But my own moods, my own emotions make me turn away. As we heard the other day, she was going towards the grove, and at once she was weeping a tear, biting her lip, and turning away, but in her heart feeling the ecstasy of desire to meet with Krishna. This is called Kila Kinchit Bhav, contradictory emotions. So Radharani said, what do I do? And Lalita Devi said, as I am offering you arati in her heart, she is praying, may all these obstacles be removed. May all the obstacles in the meeting with Krishna be removed. So when we are doing arati, Mother, Chandrika, this is our mood. May all the obstacles in Radharani's meeting with Krishna be removed. So now she is wearing many ornaments. The ornaments decorating her body are blazing ecstasies of sattva, pure goodness. And they are constantly existing. Every ornament is one form of transcendental ecstasy, and there are many, many kinds of ecstasy. We think of in English one thing, ecstasy, but actually it has many dozens of varieties. And these varieties of ecstasies are the ornaments all over her body. Also ornamenting her body are 20 kinds of ecstatic symptoms. So there's the moods of ecstasy, and then there are symptoms of ecstasy. This is all described in the book of Srila Rupa Goswami, Ujjvala Nilamani. All describes Srimati Radhika's moods. Her transcendental qualities are the flower garland hanging over her body. The tilak on her forehead is good fortune personified. And her various loving affairs with Krishna are like the gemstone in the locket around her heart. So her heart, she has the necklace. And in that necklace, there's a very beautiful gem. And that is the hidden pastimes of Radha and Krishna and their meeting. Our Gurudev would always sing this very beautiful verse, praying to Govardhan. Pramadamadana lila kandare kandare te rachayati navayuna dvandamastema mandam etikila kalanartha lagna kastadhayorme nijanikata nivasam dehi govardhanatvam. May I always reside near the banks of Shri Giriraj Govardhan. In the caves of Giriraj Govardhan, Radha Krishna are always performing their intimate, hidden, loving affairs. So that is the necklace and the locket on our heart. That gem, it is hidden. Kandare kandare te. We pray to Chaitanya that may you appear in the cave of my heart. So Giriraj, Govardhan, the mountain that Krishna lifted, represents the heart of Sri Radha. And the heart of Sri Radha is always serving all the residents of Vrindavan, providing all necessities. That is the magnanimity of her love, is manifesting as Giriraj, serving all of Vrindavan. And within that heart of Giriraj, she is meeting with Krishna. So it is symbolizing her own heart. And that is like a locket. On her chest is a gemstone, the hidden pastime she experiences directly with Krishna, that is only witnessed by her maidservants. Sri Radha's friends, the gopis, are the activities of her mind. What does that mean? Every gopi is endeavoring to please Krishna. And that is the activity of Srimati Radhika's consciousness. Her only desire is to please Krishna. And that manifests in millions of forms as all the gopis. Every gopi is a manifestation of Radharani's desire to please her beloved. And so the gopis are her mental activities. It's described here like that. And they are all concentrated on the pastimes of Krishna. All right? Anyone who's interested in studying this, they can read Madhya Lila, chapter 8. Later part of Ramananda Roy Sambad. And for further details, they can read Ujjvala Nilamani. Radharani keeps her hand on the shoulder of her friend. And this friend represents her ever-fresh youth. Her bed is what? What is the nature of her bed? It is pride itself. This is transcendental, not material. We have to understand this is in the transcendental realm. Nothing to do with matter, nothing to do with anything we consider material emotion. But pride is described to be the mood of possessive love. When you have possessive love, then it can manifest in the form of pride in the glory of your beloved. It is not even personal pride. Like, oh, I am the disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. There is a pride to that, but it is about the glory of your teacher or the glory of your lineage or the glory of Krishna, your Ishwar. So there's a verse we sing. Radhika dasi jadi hoya biman shigrai milai tavo gokulakana. That I am praying to become the maidservant of Srimati Radhika. When I develop that abhiman, that pride, then very quickly Krishna will come and accept me, meet me, accept me, give me his darshan. So this is the positive mood, positive ego, pure ego. Radhika dasi jadi hoya abhiman shigrai milai tava gokulakan. I am the servant of Sri Radha. If we develop that mood, very quickly Krishna will come and think, oh, let me take you to the spiritual world. Very quickly he'll think, enough material life. Very quickly he will come and take you to the spiritual world because you have developed that desire. Even in the form of pride. I am the maidservant of Srimati Radhika. This is the song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, the transcendental fragrance of Srimati Radhika is permeating that space, and she is sitting on the bed of her pride. And she is sitting there thinking of Krishna and her association with Krishna. So this is the meditation our Goswamis perform. First giving massage to Srimati Radhika, then bathing, 3 kinds of bath, her mercy, her youth, her luster, and then decorating and giving all these different ointments, giving all these decorations which all represent her different moods and transcendental ecstasies. Radharani is wearing beautiful earrings. These earrings are the name, the glories, the qualities of Lord Krishna. These are her earrings. The name of Krishna is always in her ears. She's only thinking Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. With her friends, she's always speaking Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. She's always thinking and hearing the glories of Krishna. So her earrings represent the name and the glories and the beautiful qualities of Krishna. And they're always discussing Krishna's qualities, his names, and his glories. And it is always coming from her speech, inundating her speech. Our Gurudev, everywhere he went, he would teach people to think of the names of Krishna, to chant the names of Krishna, to meditate on the qualities of Krishna, everywhere he went. And the gopis are always doing this. Therefore, Gurudev established and taught this. Everywhere he went, he would teach Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. So those earrings Srimati Radhika wears, they are the names of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, the glories of Krishna. You imagine they're having this conversation. Lord Chaitanya, Krishna himself with the mood and luster of Sri Radha, hearing from her intimate friend Vishaka about her glories and the nature of her love for him. Srimati Radhika is a transcendental mine of valuable jewels of love. Buried within her heart are unlimited, priceless jewels of love for Krishna. And her transcendental form is filled with unparalleled spiritual qualities. If one asks about the origin of love for Krishna, the only answer is Sri Radha. The origin of love for Krishna is Srimati Radharani. I speak about this often. I say, there is no Krishna consciousness without Srimati Radhika. She is the source of Krishna consciousness. There is no love for Krishna without Srimati Radhika. Whatever the rasa, that means even if you're in a fraternal mood of love for Krishna as his friend, or a paternal mood of love for Krishna as his parent, or in a neutral mood of love for Krishna as a sage, or in a mood of service for Krishna as Krishna's servants, the origin of love for Krishna is Sri Radha. And any rasa or relation with Krishna is based on pure love. And therefore, without Sri Radha, how can we realize Sri Krishna? So we must take shelter of Srimati Radhika. Who is the most dear friend of Krishna? Who is Krishna's dearmost friend? Of all Krishna's friends, Krishna's dearmost friend is only Sri Radha. She is his dearmost friend. She has very curly hair. Her two eyes are moving to and fro. There's a beautiful song we sing. Ramananda Roy sang this song. Kalayati nayanam dishi dishi valitam pankajamiva mridhu maruta chalitam kalayati nayanam dishi dishi valitam pankajamiva mridhu maruta chalitam. This means Srimati Radhika's lotus eyes are flickering to and fro as she's walking to the forest, searching for her beloved Krishna. And she's walking very gracefully into the forest. So Sri Radha's eyes are flickering back and forth. And she has very beautiful curly hair. All transcendental qualities are manifest in Srimati Radharani. She alone is able to fulfill all the desires of Krishna, no one else. All the queens of Krishna pale in comparison to Sri Radha. All the gopis learn the art of dressing from Sri Radha. So any kind of art of dressing Krishna or even themselves comes from Srimati Radhika. And the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, desires a little bit of the beauty of Srimati Radhika and prays to Srimati Radhika, may I possess some of your good qualities and thus please Lord Vishnu. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, is praying, O Radharani, please give me a fraction of your good qualities, of your beauty, of your charm, of your love, so that I can serve my beloved. Even Lakshmi Devi, also Parvati, the consort of Lord Shiva, is only praying for a fraction of the beauty and qualities of Sri Radha. Everyone is only praying to emulate, to a small degree, the chastity, the dharma, the religious principles, the beauty and the good qualities of Srimati Radhika. The wives of all the sages are praying, may I one day receive a tiny drop of the mercy of Srimati Radhika so that I can serve with love in my life. Lord Krishna himself cannot understand the limit of the transcendental qualities of Sri Radha. Even Krishna cannot understand her glory. Therefore, he appeared as Lord Chaitanya, praying to understand her glory. He said, I will become a devotee. I am God, but I will become my own devotee, and I will take on her luster and her moods. And then I will learn from her friends, the gopis, about the glory of her love. And maybe then I can understand something. So what to speak of us? How can we understand the glories of Srimati Radhika? Even Krishna cannot. Krishna is endeavoring to, with his infinite intelligence, but yet he cannot fully understand the glory of Srimati Radhika. So then Lord Chaitanya replied, I have come to understand the truth of the loving affairs between Sri Radha and Krishna. Still, I want to hear how both of them gloriously enjoy such pure divine love. Ramananda Roy replied, Krishna is always able to, it's described that with his beloveds, he is so expert that they are always controlled by his love. It's called Dear Lalita. He is very charming, beloved. His only business is to enjoy his loving affairs. It's Krishna's only duty. Krishna appears in many incarnations to do work. Parittanaya sadhanam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma sangstapa naritaya sambhavami yuge yuge. This is the Vishnu incarnation. It's Krishna, but original Vrajendra Nandan Shyam Sundar, Krishna in Vrindavan, his only business is what? Loving affairs with Srimati Radhika. That is his only business. And reciprocation of love with all the Vrindavan devotees. That's his only business. There's no other business. A person who is very cunning, always youthful, expert in joking, without anxiety, and can always keep his beloveds controlled by his love, that person is called Dear Lalita. So that is Krishna's nature. Day and night, Lord Krishna is enjoying the company of Sri Radha in the groves of Vrindavan. In this way, his youth, and he's in the very tender age, as a teenage boy, Kishore, his youth is fulfilled in his pastimes with Srimati Radhika. Sometimes Sri Krishna would speak of his pastimes with Srimati Radhika, and she would be in the company of her friends. She would become very shy. And she would cover her eyes with her hands. And at that time, Krishna would begin to decorate her body. So this is described. These are very high topics. But Lord Chaitanya came to distribute this mood. And he said, you should continue. So Ramananda Roy said, there's another transcendental topic. Should we leave that for next time? We have time now? It's called Prem Vilas Vivarta. He said, you may hear of this from me now. I do not know whether you will be happy with it or not. What is that? So Ramananda Roy began to sing a song, his own composition. And as Ramananda Roy was singing, Mahaprabhu became astonished, and ecstasy began to manifest in his form. And he could not contain himself. And hearing this, he was overwhelmed, and he put his hand on the mouth of Ramananda Roy and said, stop. It's too much. He covered his mouth with his own hand. So Ramananda Roy was singing of a mood. He said, alas, before we met, there was an initial attachment between us by an exchange of glances. You can imagine the Supreme Lord Krishna and his Supreme Beloved are speaking of their love. Supreme Lover, Supreme Beloved, that is the highest form of the Godhead. Pure love. And so before we first met, there was an exchange of glance, an attachment developed by that glance. As that attachment evolved, there was no limit to it. That attachment has become a natural sequence between us. What is that? It is not due to me, Krishna, the beloved, or because of you, the lover. What is that natural sequence? This attachment is made possible by our meeting together. And this mutual exchange of attraction is known as manobhav. or Cupid. Krishna's mind and my mind have become one in the intensity of our love, where we no longer can distinguish, I am Radha, lover, and you are Krishna, beloved. We have lost that in the complete absorption in each other, in our meeting. And during the time of separation, it is very difficult to explain this love. So Radharani, Ramananda Roy is singing in the mood of Radharani to her friend. And she says, my dear friend, though Krishna may have forgotten all these things, you can understand and bring this message to him. So Radharani is singing in the mood of separation, remembering her meeting with Krishna and telling her friend, please speak to Krishna of my love for him and please ask him to come. During our first meeting, there was no messenger between us, nor did I request anyone to see him. Indeed, Cupid's 5 arrows were our only messenger, our only medium. So this is the Kam Gayatri. You'll hear these 5 flower arrows in the Kam Gayatri. Pushpa Banaya. It's described that love has 5 flower arrows that strike the sense of sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. And so Srimati Radhika is saying that these 5 flower arrows of Cupid were the only medium between us. Now in our separation, the attraction has increased to a state of transcendental ecstasy and madness. My dear friend, please go and act as a messenger on my behalf. Because of one who is in love with such a beautiful person, this is the consequence. After meeting, separation is unbearable. It's described that separation is like a fire burning in the body. That is separation, yes? Separation is like your body is on fire, but you cannot put it out. You'll think, I am burning, I can jump in a lake. In our ashram, we have a frozen lake. You can smash the ice and jump in the frozen lake, and this will put out the fire of separation. No. This fire is burning. So Radharani sings a song. She says, it's a very beautiful song, Sukara Lagia. Let's see if it's here. Egara Pudino. It's a Chandidas song where she sings, oh, I built a house for my happiness and then it burnt down. Everything I did to meet and love and serve and please Krishna, and then he disappeared from my life. So it's said that love has 2 shores. Love is a river with 2 shores, meeting and separation. So anytime she's meeting with Krishna, she develops that oneness of consciousness where she's only thinking of her beloved. She loses all sense of separateness. And then when they're separated, she is also fully absorbed in Krishna. So this is the perfection of devotional life. Oh my Lord, Sri Radha says, you live in the forest of Govardhan. Like the king of elephants, you are expert in the art of love. O master of the universe, your heart and my heart, Sri Radha's heart, are like shellac that you wax, like red wax. And they have melted in our meeting, in the heat of our love. Therefore, no one can distinguish between me and you. Our love itself has come together in our union, and we have lost our separate sense of self. Like wax. When wax is 2 pieces of wax, but when it melts together, it's one. So that is a oneness of mood, of heart, that includes the separate experience as lover and beloved. And that's why they come in a combined form as Lord Chaitanya. And when they come as a combined form as Lord Chaitanya, they're always in separation, looking for themselves. Lord Chaitanya is always looking for Krishna and always looking for Radharani. So one can no longer distinguish between Krishna and Sri Radha. Now you have mixed, so Ramananda Roy is singing this song to Mahaprabhu. Now you have mixed your newly developing affection like vermilion. That means the very dark, beautiful red, like scarlet powder. And it is being mixed with that reddish shellac that is melted wax. and is taking on a lustrous form of this beautiful reddish anurag. That's why we wear this color that represents that pure love in a subdued form. But the purest form of it is shining. Like you see something that's greasy, glistening. It's glistening, scarlet, effulgent. That is the description. So this is the form of the melted hearts of the love of Sri Radha and Krishna. And for the benefit of the whole world, you have painted both of your hearts red within this great palace of the universe. This is description by Jayadev Goswami, Gita Govinda. So it's describing the love of Sri Radha and Krishna as the color with which any beauty is present in this world. Any beauty present in this world, any love present in this world, any reflection of beauty or love is coming from that original source of the love of Sri Radha and Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard these verses and he said, this is the limit of the goal of human life. Only by your mercy have I come to understand this. The goal of life cannot be achieved unless one practices the process to develop this love. So ultimately our aspiration is to serve the divine couple with love for them and in a relationship of love with them. That means to participate in their divine love and loving affairs, to facilitate, to bring them together, to experience that love that they experience. That's why the position as the maidservant of Srimati Radhika is the most fortunate position for the living entity to achieve, because it is that position in which you can experience her moods of love, which are infinite. So Ramananda Roy replied, I do not know what I'm able to say. No one has ever been able to ask such a question as this. Most people think about God, religion, society, duties. To consider this kind of conception is beyond anything available before Lord Chaitanya. That's why Ramananda Roy said, no one has asked such a question to me before. It is blowing my mind. I cannot understand. Who are you that you can ask such a question? Within these three worlds, who is so undisturbed that he can remain steady as you manifest these transcendental energies? Actually, you are speaking through my mouth at the same time you are listening. So he was starting to recognize this is a divine personality. This is no ordinary person. And he said, actually, you are speaking through me, and you are bringing this nectar from me. So kindly hear the process by which this goal can be attained. The pastimes of Radha and Krishna are very confidential. They cannot be understood through the mellows of service, like Krishna's servants, or fraternity, like the cowherd boys, or parental affection. If you are aspiring for that mood of service of Srimati Radhika and understanding her love and Krishna's love at that level, then Dasya Ras, Sakya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, the mood of service to Krishna, the mood of friendship with Krishna as a cowherd boy, or the mood of parental affection like Mother Yashoda is not sufficient. Only the gopis have the right to appreciate these transcendental pastimes, and only from them can these pastimes be expanded and understood. Without the gopis, these pastimes between Radha and Krishna cannot be nourished. Only by their cooperation are these pastimes broadcast, and it is their activity to taste the sweetness of these pastimes. Without the help of the gopis, one cannot enter into these pastimes. Only one who worships Krishna in the ecstasy of the gopis, following in their footsteps, can engage in the service of Radha Krishna in the forest groves of Vrindavan. Only then can one understand the pure divine love between Radha and Krishna. There is no other procedure for this understanding. The pastimes of Radha Krishna are self-effulgent. They are happiness personified, unlimited and all-powerful. Even so, the spiritual moods of these pastimes are never complete without the gopis. So all the gopis are the expansions of Srimati Radhika, and they complete the pastimes of Radha Krishna. So Radha Krishna are not alone, as we see here. They're never alone. Our Vaishnavas in Vrindavan say Radharani is never without her gopis, the Manjaris and Sakis. Even when she is meeting with Krishna, the Manjaris are nearby. They complete these pastimes. So Krishna himself is not complete without his spiritual potencies. So in the same way, unless one takes shelter of the gopis, one cannot enter into the company of Sri Radha and Sri Krishna. Who can be interested in their spiritual pastimes without taking their shelter? All right, there are many, many more verses. And this is important to hear because it's telling us the path. I'll read one more verse. Verse 224. Great sages conquer the mind and senses by practicing the mystic yoga system in controlling the breath. Thus, engaging in mystic yoga, they see the supersoul within their hearts and ultimately enter into impersonal Brahman. But even the enemies of the Supreme Lord Krishna can achieve this position simply by thinking of the Supreme Lord. So as a yogi, you meditate all your concentration on Krishna and then you can merge into the absolute truth. But the enemies of Krishna, by enmity towards him, by trying to kill him, by being killed by Krishna, they achieve the same liberation. However, the damsels of Vrindavan, the gopis, being attracted by the beauty of Krishna, simply wanted to embrace him and be embraced by his arms. Thus, the gopis ultimately tasted the nectar of the lotus feet of Krishna. Similarly, we Upanishads can also taste the nectar of his lotus feet by following in the footsteps of the gopis. So this is a verse in the Upanishads. The personified Upanishads prayed that may we take shelter of the lotus feet of the gopis, the cowherd maidens. The Upanishads who teach about the impersonal Brahman, generally the Upanishads teach about Brahman and Atman, and that Tattvamasi and so on and so forth, Prajnanam Brahma. But those same Upanishads in their personified form is in the scriptures, they pray, may I take shelter of the dust of the lotus feet of the Brajagopis. This is their only prayer. So they are guiding us on this path and teaching us how to practice spiritual life following in their footsteps. So we are praying today too, Srimati Radhika and Sri Krishna to bless us with their kindness, their mercy. Tomorrow we are celebrating the appearance day of our beloved Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Swami Maharaj. It's a very beautiful day for us to celebrate. So we'll be dressing the deities from early morning and having a beautiful celebration, then going to New York City for 2 days of celebrations and continuing here as well. So we're praying to understand and distribute his teachings in his mood. In his life, he helped bring us to an understanding, a glimpse of the glories of the Brajagopis and of Srimati Radhika. It is described that in your life, if you can just have a little bit of faith or a little appreciation for this transcendental mood and the transcendental love of the gopis, then your life is successful. There's a disciple of Gurudev who said to him, I feel like I'm not advancing in spiritual life, and I've spent many years trying. And Gurudev asked him, so what is your desire? And he said, oh, from you I've heard so many times about the glories of Srimati Radhika and the position of her maidservant, so I aspire for that. And Gurudev smiled and said, your life is successful. If you have this desire, then it can surely be fulfilled by the mercy of Srimati Radhika, Sri Krishna, and their associates. Therefore, Gurudev would say before his classes, Tavevasmi na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya radhe tvam nayamam charanantike. I am yours, I know no one but you. Knowing this, O Srimati Radhike, please accept me as a maidservant at your lotus feet. So this is our prayer, and this is the prayer of our Guru Varga. Vanchakalpa durubhyasya kripa sindhuvevacha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, everyone. Radhe Radhe. We have battery? We can sing that Kalayate Nayanam song. Very sweet song. $342. I'll read the translation. Srimati Radhika's eyes are glancing in every direction, appearing like a lotus moving in a gentle breeze. As Srimati Radhika enters the pastime forest, transcendental love, Kamdev, arises and obstructs her at every step, like we talked about. Her steps are very slow and gentle, like the graceful gait of a king of elephants. May these words spoken by the poet Ramananda Roy bring happiness to Gajapati Maharaj Prataparudra. He was the king of Jagannath Puri. So this Ramananda Roy, who had this conversation with Mahaprabhu, is singing this song. Kalayati nayanam Dishi dishi valitam pankajamiva mridhu maruta chalitam kalayati nayanam. Dishi dishi valitam pankajamiva mridhu maruta chalitam. Keli vipinam pravishati radha. Keli vipinam pravishati radha. Pratipada samudita manasi jabadha. Pratipada samudita manasi jabadha. Kalayati nayanam dishi dishi valita pankajamiva mridhu maruta charitam. Dishi dishi valita pankajamiva mridhu maruta charitam. Dinadadani mridhu mantaraparam. Rachayati kunjara gati manubhadam. Bhagalayati nayanam dishi dishi valitam pankajamiva mridhu maruta charitam. Janayati rudra gajadipamo